People in Pensacola, Florida think of Oregon, they probably do not think of this place. They should. This is the other side of Oregon, to the east, Malheur County. US 95, the community of Rome. These are the pillars of Rome. Early settlers read of wondrous civilizations in faraway places, distant times. When they saw what wind and weather had done to these cliffs, they thought of Rome, even though they had never been there. It was their flight of fancy. We take flight ourselves now to the eastern edge of Oregon. This is a country far from Willamette Valley crowds, stretching from Nevada to Washington, from desert to Alps. A country to be seen, not talked about.
Oh, sure. It seems like hundreds of miles there. All there is sagebrush and rock and sand. A lot of dirt, too. But every once in a while, out of that monotony comes something wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
We see this because of Warren Petrie, the fellow who once in a while travels with us up here. Most rivers flow, the Owyhee River digs. This is what it has dug. A river creates a lot of scenery. This one tucks itself out of sight unless you are on it, or over it, or live alongside it. A place called Birch Creek. Alfonso Accordia Catilla's parents came here a long time ago. Life was not easy.
I was, anyway, in her arms. She jumped off with me in her arms and threw the other two off the wagon when the horses started to run away.
What they built still stands. Now the Birch Creek Ranch is preserved by the Bureau of Land Management. Future generations will be able to visit the past. Near the Idaho-Oregon border, north of Jordan Valley, from mountains above, canyons march to the Owyhee River below. Leslie Gulch, lit by the last light of day. We fear many things. We distrust good news, worry about bad news, fear peace because we know it cannot endure. Most of all, as the 20th century ends, it seems we fear silence. This is a place of silence. So quiet, some people are uncomfortable. People make their presence known on the countryside, officially and unofficially. A sheepherder with time on his hands and slabs of rock around his feet tidied up a mountaintop. One by one he piled them in a circle, one row atop another. At about the 14-foot level, he stopped.
I wonder if he sat here on a hot summer afternoon, sat here by his pile of rocks, and looked out at the rest of the world and his sheep grazing down below.
Perhaps the sheepherder was asking, "Does anyone know I am here?" He piled his rocks years before anyone considered it might not be the thing to do on public land. There's a bit of man's handiwork there, too, from the Strawberry Mountains on the west looping its way to the east. A person has to have a reason for digging a ditch, a big ditch, especially one more than 100 miles long. This ditch happened because of gold. Miners needed water. Entrepreneurs figured they'd deliver water and get rich. Probably somebody got rich off the effort, and somebody else lost money. That's the way society works. Over where the water was delivered, there isn't much to see from the air or from the ground. Just the doorway to Bud Fish's general store. Towns disappear when the economy changes. It still happens. Over the hills, a ridge or two, that meadow once was the town of Bates. Every other year, people come to remember.
I lived there from the time I was 6 months old until I finished high school and got married and left.
When the mill closed, everyone left. Just memories now of the town and the railroad which served it. How cattle got loose from a rail car one day.
They rounded up more cattle than was on the train.
Yeah.
They actually did.
Started out with a few and ended with a lot.
The Sumter Valley Railroad pulled out years before the mill. Years later, out of the shadows of memory, the Sumter Valley Railroad came to life again. It just took a lot of work by a lot of people. This engine is a far cry from the first engine they acquired.
got this Heisler from over in Idaho and tore it all apart. There were mice in the pistons and, you know, mice nests, and they were all black from the grease.
A sunrise is for optimists. Look at a sunrise, know anything is possible. A long time ago, people looked at the mountains in the same way. Every mountain contained gold. People were certain of it. People looked in the mountains for their treasure. In our time, we look at the mountains and find our treasure. Mountains bring out the words in poets. Full many a glorious morning have I seen, flatter the mountain tops with sovereign eye, kissing with golden face the meadows green, gilding pale streams with heavenly alchemy. That's Shakespeare, sonnet number 33. The words now of Alexander Pope. The first clouds and mountains seem the last, but those attained we tremble to survey the growing labors of the lengthened way. The increasing prospect tire our wandering eyes. Hills peep o'er hills, and Alps on Alps arise. People are busy. It's obvious from up here. What we are doing depends on the time of year. It is harvest as we float overhead. No idle moments for farmers during harvest. Nor anyone in a farmer's family. Everybody is needed to run one piece of equipment or another. Equipment doesn't have to be new. Doesn't even have to be modern. It just needs to be economical. If you want, Tom Angle will recite dollars and cents regarding his decision.
Every time I price a tractor, I buy another team of horses. A new swather is $38,000. A new baler is $26,000. A decent tractor is $55,000. We farm with horses. Barney Bill, step.
Bits and pieces of history. That's what we see from up here. There is part of Jordan Valley's Basque heritage, a playing court for a game brought from the old country. That's Olive Lake. If you look closely in the neighboring forest, you will see progress. It comes in the form of a wooden pipe. Electricity was changing America. Electricity was needed in the mines. A hydroelectric plant hummed to life because of a wooden pipe. A wooden ship far from the ocean was powered by electricity, too. And dug up a valley, searching for gold. The Sumter Valley dredge kept digging until the 1950s. Made a horrible racket, they say.
You could hear that from one end of the valley to the other, as far as noise is concerned.
Oh, it was a squealing and squalling all the time. You could hear it for 10 miles.
The dredge is what made me decide I want to go back to barbering.
Okay, we ready? Everybody look at the camera.
Every year, workers come back, tell younger people what it was like. A good job, they say, steady work, regular pay. The dredge is a bit of the past, kept alive as part of the Oregon State Park system. A lot of other memories are kept alive by people who just simply collect things. That's Pug Robinson's place near Baker City down there. If it is old, was used on a farm, has moving parts, Pug Robinson probably has at least one of them.
I just picked that stuff up because rather than seeing it go into the scrap iron pile, I'd rather preserve it.
It being tractors and crawlers and road graders.
That's a Western, and this one here is a good road grader company, I think. We call it Power of the Past.
There is a relic now. The drive-in theater still full of cars. Just no movies being shown. The Elgin Opera House has performances in it, some of them because it is City Hall, others because the community restored the theater.
I see a silhouette I never will forget, saying, folks, you ain't heard nothing yet, how I love a Jolson song.
No one knows the eventual fate of the old Hot Lake Sanitarium near La Grande. People rode the train to take the waters at one time, rejuvenate body and mind. I think the people down there could use a hot soak after this day's work. Towns like celebrations. Bring a community together, they say, along with a few out-of-towners who leave their money in a as fast as contestants leave the backs of the horses they're trying to ride. That's Joseph. Their celebration, Chief Joseph Days. Just over every hill, a story to be told. It's no different along the Snake River, where Oregon and Idaho look at one another across the water. This is the Oxbow, as self-explanatory a name as a place can have. Now people think of Oxbow because of a dam. One time, the land along the river was filled with fruit orchards. There was a railroad, and a town called Copperfield, a town so lawless Governor Oswald West sent his secretary to clean it up. Miss Fern Hobbs did. Oxbow is where the canyon starts, Hell's Canyon. In the 1950s, there was a lot of publicity about the deep Snake River Gorge. Snake River Gorge didn't have enough image for the publicity people, but a canyon draining into the Snake River did. So the name Hell's Canyon was lifted from one location and given to the deeper gorge. Such is the power of publicity. What we think of as Hell's Canyon now stretches from Oxbow Dam on the south to the mouth of the Grand Ronde River. People love statistics. For you, some numbers. At its deepest spot, 6 Empire State Buildings could be stacked atop one another. This canyon is 2,000 feet deeper than the Grand Canyon. So much for statistics. This is a place of legends. A long time ago, 7 giants walked the land, plundered villages. People sought the help of Coyote, who dug 7 deep pits, filled them with a boiling liquid. The giants approached, slipped into the pits. Coyote changed them into mountains. To keep more giants from crossing into the land, he created a deep trench in front of the mountains. This is that trench. A storm is coming. It is expected. Thunderstorms in late afternoon, as common as this sight in early morning. Ask people in Portland, been to the part of Oregon next to Idaho? Oh yeah, they say. I travel Interstate 84 all the time. There is so much beyond the interstate. All the scenery to absorb, all the towns to visit, people to meet. There is history to learn. History to observe. There is all this attitude to understand. People over here aren't certain they are a part of Oregon. According to the map I have, they are. Thank goodness.
That stunk. Ew.